Hey, I'm Cullen, and this is 10 travel and outdoor books you have to read. So if you're interested in the outdoors, breathtaking adventures, the planet and its conservation, and books, then this list is definitely for you. There's some classics, but there are also some more modern novels as well. Number 10, The Solace of Open Spaces by Gretel 𝗺𝗃. Of all the books on this list, this is by far the most poetic. 𝗺𝗃 beautifully describes her time in the American West, though it isn't always beautiful. Her writing is exposed, honest, and it truly paints a picture of ranch life in Wyoming. It's a very short book, as you can see, but it's essential for anyone dreaming of an existence on horseback surrounded only by the elements. With all these books, I've pulled what I think are the best quotes to give you a better idea of the story and the writing style of the author. Here's one from The Solace of Open Spaces. Animals hold us to what is present, to who we are at the time, not who we've been or how our bank accounts describe us. What is obvious to an animal is not the embellishment that fattens our emotional resumes, but what's bedrock and current in us. Aggression, fear, insecurity, happiness, or equanimity. Because they have the ability to read our involuntary tics and scents, we're transparent to them and thus exposed. We're finally ourselves. A second quote from the book that I loved: "A good rodeo, like a good marriage or a musical instrument when played to the pitch of perfection, becomes more than what it started out to be. It is effort transformed into effortlessness. A balance becomes grace, the way love goes deep into friendship." Number 9, On Trails by Robert Moore. Moore combines anecdotes from his travels around the world with the science and art of trail building. He dives back in the depths of time to explain how the earliest organisms created paths. He then makes his way through the centuries to educate us on how we developed what we have today, the modern hiking trail. One of the quotes from On Trails: "The modern hiking trail is an uncanny thing. We hikers generally assume it is an ancient earthborn creation, as old as dirt. But in truth, hiking was invented by nature-starved urbanites in the last 300 years, and trails have sprouted new shapes to fulfill their hunger." Another quote I loved from the book: "The history of life on this planet can be seen as a single path made in the walking of it. We are all the inheritors of that line, but also its pioneers. Every step we push forward into the unknown, following the path and leaving a trail." Number 8, Touching the Void by Joe Simpson. After their successful first descent, Simpson and his climbing partner Yates have to beat the odds to make it back to base camp, only one of them at full capacity. While showcasing the abilities of the human spirit, it also begs the question, when does saving one's own life outweigh the responsibility for saving another's? Here's one of my favorite quotes from Touching the Void. "He was still grinning, and his confidence was infectious. Who said one man can't rescue another, I thought. We had changed from climbing to rescue, and the partnership had worked just as effectively." Number 7, Way Out There, Adventures of a Wilderness Trekker by J.R. Harris. Harris, NYC born and bred, always dreamed of adventure. He desired to step out of the overcrowded city into the most underpopulated places on Earth. Leaving on his first trip in an old Volkswagen Beetle, he enthusiastically rolls toward the northernmost road in Alaska, from New York. From there, Harris skips across the globe, traversing the most remote locations imaginable, and his innate storytelling ability guides you eagerly along with him. It's a down-to-earth, easy-to-consume, exciting piece of nonfiction. My only qualm? His tales are so enthralling that you wish Harris was just sitting next to you at a campfire, telling them himself. Here's one of my favorite quotes from the book. "The most valuable lesson I learned was that if you believe in something, be stubborn enough to make it happen regardless of what others may think or the hardships it may require. The reward is the truly enormous feeling of accomplishment when your dream is fulfilled." Number 6, The Wolf by Nate Blakeslee. Blakeslee follows the intimate bloodline of the most dominant Yellowstone wolf, 𝗚6, without missing the deep-rooted political issues surrounding her species' reintroduction to the park. The author skillfully records the actors in the heated wolf debate as well as the beasts themselves. Evenly weighted and paced to perfection, this book throws you into a story as old as time: humans versus wolves. One of my favorite quotes from the book: "Wolves were the driving force behind the evolution of a wide variety of prey species in North America after the last ice age, literally molding the natural world around them. The massive size of the moose, the nimbleness of the white-tailed deer, the uncanny balance of the bighorn sheep, the architect of these and countless other marvels was the wolf." Number 5, Farrell Rewilding the Land, Sea, and Human Life by George Monbiot. This is for those more intrigued by the planet's delicate ecosystems and how humans have altered the natural order of things. Is conservation the best option when we're only conserving a short-sighted, human-altered version of the environment? Should we reintroduce animals that went regionally extinct without the aid of human destruction? Is maintaining the landscapes of 2 centuries ago really representative of the Earth's biosphere from previous millennia? No clue what I'm talking about? These and other topical issues are handled elegantly by Monbiot. One of the best quotes from the book: "I believe that pockets of wild land, small in some places, large in others, should be accessible to everyone. No one should have to travel far to seek refuge from the ordered world." Number 4, Walking to Listen by Andrew Forsthoefel. Stepping out of his front door with only a backpack and a sign that reads "Walking to Listen," 𝗺ście sets across the United States to hear people's stories. The kindness he encounters along the way justifies the book's worth in itself. And while it's a transformational journey for 𝗺ście, it is for the reader as well. It leaves you wanting to set out yourself, inspired by his willingness to listen, but also by the words of those that he meets along the way. One of the best quotes from the book, "Wander. It had something to do with the lightness of being, a receptive approach to each new moment that might take you anywhere. Obstacles didn't exist because there was nowhere in particular to get to." Another quote that I absolutely love, "There wasn't a formula for how to live my life because my life had never been lived before." Number 3, Down the Great Unknown by Edward 𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 expertly weaves together the journals of Major John Wesley Powell and his comrades on their defiant river trip through the Grand Canyon, the first of its kind. In 1869, these 10 brave souls set out on the Green River, eventually meeting the mighty flow of the Colorado, and they plunged headfirst into a world unknown. The one-armed Civil War veteran led the party into an adventure that they were ill-prepared for, but it's one that continues to earn immense respect and captures the fascination of modern-day readers. One of my favorite quotes from the book, "Embroider your adventures, convert to use any handy odyssey, and spin it all out in the firelight. The only sin is the sin of being dull." Number 2, one of my all-time favorites, Desert Solitaire by Edward 𝗍𝗍. Edward 𝗍𝗍 is one of the most prolific writers on the American Southwest. Desert Solitaire arguably his most recognized work. Recording his days as a national park ranger in Moab, Utah, 𝗍𝗍 relays his isolation, his love for the desert's indifference, and his distrust of the man-made world. Follow his journey through 𝗺cies National Park and his surrounding playground, the incredibly varied landscapes of the American Southwest. One of my favorite quotes from the book, "If 𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗃 has any significance, it lies, I will venture, in the power of the odd and unexpected to startle the senses and surprise the mind out of their ruts of habit, to compel us into a reawakened awareness of the wonderful, that which is full of wonder." Another of my favorite 𝗍𝗍 quotes, "The finest quality of this stone, these plants and animals, this desert landscape, is the indifference manifest to our presence, our absence, our coming, our staying or our going. Whether we live or die is a matter of absolutely no concern whatsoever to the desert." And finally, number 1, A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. Bryson is an influential writer when it comes to the outdoors, travel, and also science. He effortlessly intertwines humor into factually grounded writing, and he challenges the reader with his outstated notions of conservation. A Walk in the Woods contains each of these elements, enticing you to keep those pages turning as he keeps trekking through the vast wilderness of the Appalachian Trail. If you haven't already read this modern classic, do yourself a favor and buy it from a local bookshop. One of my favorite quotes from the book, "But I got a great deal else from the experience. I learned to pitch a tent and sleep beneath the stars. For a brief, proud period, I was slender and fit. I gained a profound respect for the wilderness and nature and the benign dark power of woods. I understand now, in a way I never did before, the colossal scale of the world. I found patience and fortitude that I didn't know I had." Another of my favorite quotes, "I wanted to quit and do this forever. Sleep in a bed and in a tent, see what was over the next hill and never see a hill again. All of this all at once, every moment, on the trail or off." Alright, so do you think that there's another book that deserves to be on this list? Have you already read one of these? If so, let me know in the comments. I love feedback, it's only going to help me get better and hopefully make better content for you. So thanks for watching, keep an eye out for future videos, and of course, happy reading.